Hello, and welcome to the We Recommend podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here and listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Jason. Do you feel pain?
Pain don't hurt, because this week we recommend Roadhouse. All right, I immediately want to ask the question. I'm going to put this against Speed, Point Break, and Roadhouse. Which movie do you like the most? Rank those three movies.
Probably this one.
Is number one?
Yeah. I have no notes.
So the worst one out of the three you pick.
This is the perfect movie.
It's right on par with Point Break, I think, for silliness, except this is way sillier.
It's intense. Intensely silly.
It's weird, like just 1 year later he did 2 years later I think he did Point Break. And it's like, wow, the entire environment of how we view action movies has completely changed in those 2 years.
I want to. This movie reminded me of like maybe it was like an adaptation of a Japanese like kung fu film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like if you just watch a dub, because it's like, why is the dialogue so weird? Why is everybody acting so weird? It's like, oh, this must be a dub version of a like Japanese.
Yeah,
movie.
they copy pasted it with Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott.
Oh man,
for Bruce Lee and like some other guy.
I felt like this movie was like, all right, we need another charismatic actor. Everybody else here is kind of bad. Let's add Sam Elliott. He will bring some gravitas to this movie.
Fuck yeah, man. They follow the way of the thirsty fist.
Right. I feel like in theaters back when this movie came out, everybody's like, oh yeah, Patrick Swayze, he's hot. And then Sam Elliott comes in, everybody's like, oh my God. Why is he such a ruffian?
I almost didn't recognize him without his giant mustache.
I know. It was wild. I was like, oh wow, he used to look like a normal person, you know? Just kind of like and I want to know, did he ever look young?
No.
I don't think he has he?
No. He probably looks terrible without a beard.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Like, ugh, put a beard on. But the film stars Patrick Swayze, of course. Sam Elliott as Wade. It's got Kelly Lynch as Dr. Elizabeth Clay. The best doctor you've ever seen.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait.
Hell yeah, man.
Bro, talk about like the most uncomfortable sex scene you've ever seen in your life. It was shot weird. It felt weird. He slams her against a brick stone wall. It's just like, There is no way this is comfortable for her in any way.
And he doesn't have air conditioning.
Yeah.
So like,
it's just burning hot. It seemed like a really nice loft though. I'd really kind of
this is fucking dojo, man.
Put some AC in there. It's like nicer than most houses you see.
Hey.
It's also stars Ben Gazzara as Brad Wesley. And then there's just a bunch of side characters. You got Red West as Red Webster. His name's actually Red.
Nice.
You got Kevin Ty plays Frank Tillman. He's also John Locke's father in Lost, which I'm watching right now. It's crazy how all our movies line up to what I'm watching right now. And that's pretty much all the main characters. You also have Terry Funk, who plays the guy that he first kicks out of the bar, which is great.
Oh,
He's a wrestler.
Oh, shit. Yeah, he was huge.
Yeah, he's giant, which is crazy because he was a small wrestler in wrestling, and he's huge in this, though. All right, bro. We're going to hop into some facts. So the Dr. Elizabeth Clay, the actress that played her, shadowed doctors for a month for her role. And she said she even
That's just stalking.
Well, it's just like, dude, you have like one doctor scene. That's it. And apparently she learned how to stitch someone up and how to tie off stitches. And then she got super pissed off when she got there and they just used a staple gun. She's like, what? Why was I even following a doctor? It's like, dude, you didn't have to do that. You
wasted a lot.
You literally just did it. Like, you didn't do anything.
They give her an honorary MD and she has a practice.
Exactly. It's like, dude, that'd be pretty dope though.
Hollywood doctor.
Yeah. So they marketed this movie off of Dirty Dancing. So like Dirty Dancing came out in 1987, and which was kind of why Patrick Swayze became so famous.
I would say this movie has dirtier dancing
Yeah.
than Dirty Dancing.
Well, so the actions film original tagline was a ripoff of Dirty Dancing because it says, "The dancing's over. Now it's time to get dirty." And yeah, it's pretty great. It's like no one would notice that. But then I guess, back in the day, we used to actually pay attention to taglines.
Yeah, they meant something. Yeah, I don't really, because now you have to. The only place I really see them is at the movie theater.
Yeah. Where it's like if you go on IMDb,
Yeah,
it's
or
like the
you
only
see the
time.
big poster.
I feel like taglines were great when you used to be able to buy DVDs and stuff, but now that it's all
Yeah.
streaming, there is no tagline. So I think they need to not add descriptions of the movies in Netflix, and they just need to only put the taglines for
hell
every
yeah.
movie. And we'd have to be like, I don't know what this is about. We have to try.
Or just maybe just force you to dig a little bit deeper to get to the description. I don't know.
Yeah. So the original runtime was 3.5 hours. Yeah. No, thank you.
Too much love in that.
So it comes in at like 114 minutes, which is a decent length for an action movie.
Pretty fucking long.
And in an interview with the Oklahoman, I don't know.
Oklahomian?
Sam Elliott, who played Wade, confirmed that the original cut of the film was 3 hours and 20 minutes long. This meant that more than a third of the film was left out. Elliott's performance was believed to have been hit the hardest, although he noted that everybody suffered. Other altercations include mostly removing Kathleen Wilhoit's Carrie's Anne scenes, the girl that like comes to him that one morning and brings him breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah, that girl.
And he just gets out of bed naked.
Yeah, and it's like, but. So a lot of her scenes got cut, and a lot of editing of the fight scenes. One scene was also cut in which Dalton made the other bouncers strangely dance around in tutus as part of their training.
Fuck yeah.
And then Swayze turned down 2 other action classics to star in this film. Starring in Roadhouse meant that Swayze turned down the opportunity to appear in 2 other big Hollywood action films.
Which ones?
He was offered the chance to appear alongside Sylvester Stallone as Gabriel Cash in Tango and Cash.
Oh, fuck.
A part that instead went to Kurt Russell. Swayze also sustained injuries on the set of Roadhouse, which forced him into a long recovery period. This resulted in him being unable to take part in the sci-fi classic Predator 2, where he was going to play Danny Glover's character.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, and because he like broke ribs. I mean,
Damn.
everybody did their own stunts, so they're all getting hurt.
Fuck.
So he, instead of doing those 2 movies, went on to do Ghost.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it all completely worked out for him.
I wish
Either
he
way.
would have fought ghosts.
Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, like, Ghost is probably a better movie than those 2. I mean, I prefer Tango and Cash, but that's because I'm a boy.
I need to watch that. I haven't seen it.
It's so ridiculous. It's just as ridiculous as this,
Yes.
if not a little bit more.
I love it.
It's all just like,
Bring it on.
we have muscles and we're men.
And everyone has a knife.
But then you have Kurt Russell in it who's like, yeah, I am those things, but I'm also just kind of a guy, I'm just kind of like your best friend. So yeah, like I was saying, Swayze performed all his own stunts. So he did it all to add realism to the action shots. In fact, most of the cast also performed their own stunts and trained by Benny the Jet Urquidez. I don't know how to say his name. A legendary stunt choreographer who made his name in Jackie Chan movies.
Fuck yeah.
So he said to be impressed with Swayze that he encouraged him to take up competitive kickboxing, a sport he decided not to pursue due to physical stress of it.
Well, didn't he do a lot of kickboxing movies?
Mm-hmm.
Was that after
Well,
this?
he just did a lot of just fighting movies.
I know, but there was the movie The Kickboxer.
Oh no, that was
that was someone else.
Jean-Claude.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it was Jean-Claude. Yeah,
it is. Yep, you're right.
Oh, so Marshall R. Teague initially didn't get along with Patrick Swayze,
Who's Marshall R.
the guy at the that he fights at the end.
Yes. Okay.
Guys like you in prison guy.
Yes.
I think his name's Jimmy. While filming their big fight, both men quickly realized they shared dedication to realistic stunts. They developed so much mutual trust that they improvised a lot and allowed each other to throw real punches and kicks. When Jimmy swings a log at Dalton, he mistakenly thought it was a breakable prop log. By the end, Swayze was covered in bruises and with 2 broken ribs and a busted knee.
Shit.
Apparently, they had to constantly drain fluid from his knee.
Oh, gross.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty much the reason he couldn't do Tango and Cash and how to do Dirty Dancing. Or
how can we get our hands on some of that fluid?
Give me some Patrick Swayze. It'll make me able to do Tai Chi or whatever.
Better kicks.
Yeah. I love, like, whenever we did the rundown, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, we don't make movies like this anymore. It's such a classic, like, goofy action movie. And it's like, man. And I was saying how I was making fun of 90s action movies. It's like, we need a movie now that makes fun of 80s actions movie. And I can't think of a single one right now that, like, back in the 2000s or something that they were doing this with.
No.
I almost feel like Point Break is kind of making fun of Roadhouse a little bit.
Maybe. And MacGruber, obviously, but that came a little later.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I love how bad it is and good and fun.
It's so interesting because it just changes completely. It just switches gears.
Yeah.
With how extreme this villain is.
Yeah.
and there are no police.
It's like, and I feel like there's probably, since it was like a 3.5 hour cut, I'm sure there was a scene where it's like, oh, Wesley, he owns the police and everything. But it's like, we kind of needed that because it's like, somebody call the police. Like, I don't know, like call the FBI or somebody, because this guy is just literally killing and destroying buildings. And at some point, someone has to be able to do something.
National Guard to get in here,
just be like,
please.
Hey, can I talk to the president, please? Because we have a problem here. It's like, how rich can this guy be, right? I mean, I guess
he has a monster truck, my friend.
Yeah. Well, because there's a point where it's like, okay, yes, this is one town that he has essentially brought J.C. Penney's and all this stuff to, which we never see, and we only see like this backwoods area. So it's like
down by the river.
Yeah, it's like, where's the town? Why is everybody coming out to this random strange bar? There has to be other bars here. Or it's like, go to a different town because this one's too crazy. There has to be a county next door that you can go to a bar. Just stay away from this place. And then it's like, why would anybody live here with this guy? I'd just immediately move. Just be like, we're out. This guy's crazy.
It's horrible. And I was kind of perplexed why Patrick Swayze, Dalton, moved from the nice bar to the bad one. I guess so he could be in charge.
Well, that's like his job is to fix bars and stuff. He's the cooler.
That's what it's.
It's like this is his job. He just gets paid a lot of money to come and fix bars, and then he leaves.
And he just leaves
because he can't stay in one place at a time. Well, mainly it's because I think ever since he accidentally killed somebody in self-defense. He's like, I can't stay one place too long. I might make another mistake like that. Yeah.
It's like idle hands. How it's just like, it's just thirsty for
Well,
throats.
You saw him when he was about to do it with Ben Wesley, because he was like.
Yes, I know. You could see like saliva dripping off of his fingers.
He was tensing. He's like, I'm going to do it. It's like, bro, you already ripped somebody's throat out. Might as well do it again. It's like, this guy, if anybody deserved their throats ripped out, it was the two people in this movie. He was about to rip their throats out.
Fuck yeah, man.
It's like, this guy was a menace. He deserved to go.
I feel like his major discipline in his martial arts is just not ripping throats.
Yeah. In his philosophy degree, that was his main thing he learned, was like, on his like final exam, it was like, should you rip throats out of other men? He's like, oh no,
hell yeah,
I don't know the answer. I want to put yes, but I should put no. Philosophy.
That's interesting.
It's like, I love an action movie where the guy that's ripping throats has a degree in philosophy.
Hell yeah, man. He's a kung fu guy.
It really completely makes no sense that he was in philosophy. I guess he was supposed to be like, oh, he's sensitive too.
And that's what makes me think it's just a rip-off of some like Bruce Lee movie or something.
It's like weirdly it feels like a movie that's kind of making fun of itself.
I don't know.
It's like, I don't know. I don't know how this movie got made. I don't understand how this came together. It's such a wild movie that I love so much.
Yeah.
It's just like so cheesy and crazy. All right, bro.
Hey, do yourself a favor. Watch this movie on 1.5 speed.
Is that what you did?
For a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's
like
hilarious.
I have to hurry and get through it.
No, it was so good. It was so funny, especially when everyone's dancing so goddamn hard.
Fast. Man, I bet the fight scenes were great.
Now I would slow it down for the fight scenes, the normal speed.
You had to see every.
But like for the romance scenes and shit like that. Like, burp, burp, burp.
I wish there was a website that would show how many punches and kicks are in a movie. Because I feel like there was so many in this. I was like, man, most people can only handle like 3 or 4 hits to the head before they're just like, I guess I'm down now.
I just love all the knives.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, everybody had just like a. Nobody had a gun,
knife.
but everybody had a knife.
Some people had guns and knives.
Because
everybody had fucking knife.
The entire time, every time someone came into the bar, I was like, shoot him. Dude, you got to protect your business. This is self-defense. Just shoot these people.
They have so many knives. They just, they leave them stuck in tires. And like the gas pedal.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like, everywhere you turn, there's a knife.
You're filthy rich at knives out here.
It's like a ghost movie. Every time you try to get rid of a knife, it ends up coming back to you. It's like, God dang it. I can't get rid of this haunted knife. It's wild. So wild. All right, so we're going to hop into the film.
Okay.
Roadhouse, 1989. The story opens at a bar called Bandstand in an unidentified town. I'm stopping that.
I thought this was Roadhouse.
Oh, no. No, it's Bandstand.
It's mistaken.
It's what Double Deuce could be, which is a ridiculous name in itself. A limo pulls up and a tall gentleman steps out and is allowed to enter the place after showing the bouncer at the door his business card. Inside, he finds the bar is very lively. Lots of customers drinking and dancing, a band playing loud, bluesy rock, and lots of cash being taken by the bartenders. And this is Tillman walking through. And he's just like, oh, wow, I've never seen a bar like this. And you'll know why as soon as you see the Double Deuce.
It's the shit.
Yeah. So nearby is a man named Dalton, the head bouncer or cooler, who carefully watches over the crowd and the bouncers. When a small fight breaks out involving 3 of the bouncers, he approaches the customer who started the brawl and tells him and his friend they should leave. I love it because it's just immediately you see like the awkward like confrontations that are going to happen throughout the entire film, because it's like a guy and a girl are like playing something for money, and then like
she stabs the money.
And then he just
how dare you stab my money?
Kicks the girl's chair over, and it's like, what the fuck is going on immediately?
Did you stab the money?
I don't know. It's so weird. But the customer apologizes, saying they'll behave. Dalton turns around and the customer grabs a nearby knife and slashes Dalton on his upper arm.
Yeah.
Dalton gets slashed so much.
How dare you tell this guy to stop
Everybody
drinking?
is immediately a murderer in this movie. If you walk into a bar, you become a murderer at some point in your life. Dalton seems unfazed, especially when the customer says he wants to fight him. Dalton tells him, outside. And when they're outside, Dalton smiles and leaves them there with 5 of the biggest bouncers guarding the door.
Got you, bitch.
It was so good, though. It's like, oh, he doesn't want to fight. We now know Patrick Swayze's character. Now we're going to spend the next 2 hours showing him fighting.
So happy that he's a professional.
He takes his job serious.
Yes.
Jason. He says, we're going to train these people. We're going to fix this bar.
He's
Because I feel like if you were just to fight him, they'd heal up, come back, and probably destroy the bar, right? I think that's the idea of it's like, no, he's just drunk. Get him outside, make sure he can't come back in, and then he'll sleep it off and be fine.
Yes.
Just because he's drunk as hell.
Maybe he'll run in traffic or something.
Yeah. Maybe he'll get hit by a train or something.
Or an ambulance. Holy shit. See that part?
Dude, I put that in my notes. Don't worry. This was the first time I noticed the ambulance. I was like, Jesus, he almost like ran over 3 firemen. That was insane. Oh, God. Crazy. So, back inside the club, the tall businessman introduces himself to Dalton, who is stitching up the wound he just received. The man's name is Tillman. He wants to hire Dalton to help clean up a bar he just bought outside of Kansas City.
So he doesn't have health care here.
Nope. I'm assuming.
In-house stitches.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't have health care and just gets paid a lot of money so that he can go to the doctor. Or maybe Kansas City has free health care and we just don't know because he doesn't ever seem to pay any bills at the doctor's office.
Well, yeah, at least he negotiated for it, though. It was smart.
Yeah. So just after Tillman bought the place, it attracted a violent crowd. Dalton tells him he'll work for him for $5,000 up front and $500 a night. That when the bar is cleaned up, he can leave.
Hell yeah.
And then we get a line that says, when Tillman's talking about the bar or something, he says, now it's kind of a place you sweep up the eyeballs after cleaning.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know, man. Maybe just shut it down. You seem to be rich.
Yeah.
Or just move the bar to a different town.
It's not like this place is getting inspected. Like with the health
That's
inspector or anything.
You can just leave the eyeballs on the ground. It can be like Logan's Roadhouse or whatever, like a place where you throw peanuts on the ground. It's like, oh, don't mind the eyeballs. This is just part of the charm of the place.
Yeah. You got the girls from Kill Bill just like snatching eyeballs out of people.
So dope. So Tillman gladly accepts the offer and hands Dalton a plane ticket. Dalton turns it down, saying he thinks flying is too dangerous.
Yeah, what?
So lame.
Okay.
And this is where we also get the first line. Tillman says, I thought you'd be bigger. And I believe that was a play on the fact that Patrick Swayze is not a big action star. So that was like a problem with
I thought it just meant the stature.
No, I think they were just kind of making fun of the fact that he's smaller and all the action stars at this point are Sylvester Stallone, Arnold, just giant dudes, Jean-Claude. So everybody just keeps kind of making fun of his height in this movie.
He's a little guy.
Yeah, so Dalton goes to a local parking garage driving an old clunky 1964 Buick and tosses the keys to the attendant, telling the old man to keep the car and if he wants it. The guy has such a crazy voice. It's like almost destroyed.
I thought it was like James Earl Jones at first.
Right. So in the garage, he takes the cover off his real car, 1986 Mercedes, and drives out of town. So Dalton drives into Jasper, Missouri, and goes directly to Tillman's club, the Double Deuce, a terrible name for a bar.
This place is awesome.
Before he enters the place, a large bouncer with a mean attitude, Morgan, violently tosses out a troublemaker. It's played by Terry Funk. It's great. This guy is roided up. Inside, Dalton stands by the bar waiting for Tillman to arrive. Many fights break out, but the bouncers are too busy hitting on girls.
Yeah.
You see people talking about sex, fighting, drugs, pretty much everything.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
He meets a blonde woman who acts weird when he shows up. They make eyes at each other. A guy hits on her, and the bouncer throws the guy out. The guy was insane. All the extras act so bad in this movie. They're so over dramatic and over the top.
Oh man,
because she's like, "Ew, get out of here! I'm getting out." And he immediately grabs her, and it's like, "Yo, what? He's just gonna beat this woman all of a sudden?
Yes.
What the hell, dude? Why would anyone go here?"
This place is lawless. Yeah, don't go here.
One of the waitresses, Carrie, asks Dalton who he is and recognizes his name. Already something of a legend in the bouncing business. Several of the other bouncers react with
legendary
excitement.
bouncers that everybody knows about across the country.
The bouncing business. It's like, I do wonder, it's like, do people with bars that have bouncers, is there just like a recruitment list? Like, when you're going to play football in college, it's like, wow, let me go and recruit this guy.
It's like Valhalla, how you feast every night and then fight a war the next day.
Yeah.
These people just keep coming back.
So one of the bouncers says it's rumored that Dalton killed a man by tearing out his throat with his bare hands.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. It's there's just better ways to do it, This is like, you don't immediately have to go to ripping out necks. You can just incapacitate people, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. So crazy. I mean, I get the guy at the end ripping his throat out, but man, I don't know, man. If you shouldn't run into doing this situation more than once.
I feel like
which MacGruber makes fun of this.
Yeah, of course. And I highly expected him to rip more throats.
Right.
But
that's why MacGruber was made. It was like, We should just make a movie where there's more throat ripping.
I feel like whoever taught Sam Elliott, because I think he was his master, right?
Yeah, it was the
He
guy
taught
that
him
taught
how to rip
him.
throats.
I don't know if he taught him how to rip throats.
Do you think he was just like, holy shit, man?
It's like maybe the first time he saw it, it's like,
let's dial it back a little bit.
Wade was like, Dalton, dude, like that was too much, man. Also, can you teach me how you did that? Because I'd at least like to try that once.
Great job. Let's move on.
Insane. So Dalton, he remains passive, watching the club and seeing that several of the staff are unsuited to the job. They're dealing drugs or are too busy fraternizing with female customers to take care of breaking up brawls that occur.
Selling their wives.
Dude. Yeah, we're about to get there. It's so crazy. So Dalton catches up with the band's leader, the blind guitarist, Cody, who plays behind a chicken wire cage to avoid being hit by bottles thrown by customers. Dalton and Cody's band are plainly old acquaintances.
Man,
I can't remember the band.
Place to entertain.
This is like a real band. It's like the Jeff Healey band.
Huh.
And he's actually blind. Yeah, the Jeff Healey band.
He's blind?
Yeah, he's actually a blind
I didn't
guy
know he was blind in this movie.
Did you not?
No.
I thought they said he was.
Maybe they did.
But he definitely is blind because it's actually a blind guy that's playing him.
He doesn't do like the classic blind actor thing where you like look around and like do your own kind of Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. That's because he didn't have to act. He was just blind.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's weird how bad blind actors are at playing blind people.
Yeah.
I will say they did just have him in stationary like positions. He's either sitting or leaning up against.
Yeah, you don't want to walk around. I mean, he didn't even have a stick.
That's true.
He had a guitar.
He just like, as he strums the guitar, he feels the vibrations off of everything.
Oh, like
sonar.
Daredevil.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, so essentially Cody, the guy in the band, he warns him about how dangerous this place is and just like, oh, this one's going to be a tough job for you, Dalton. And so near the end of the night, a violent brawl becomes widespread among the customers and bouncers because a guy offered a kiss to a guy because a guy offered a guy to kiss his girl's boobs.
Oh my gosh.
And the guy's like, really? And it's like only for $20. So the guy goes up to the girl, and the guy immediately starts like just squeezing him. And the guy's like, yeah, you like that? It's like,
so
yeah.
Weird.
He's like, hey, man, are you going to kiss him or just squeeze him?
They're serial killers, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
This couple.
It's wild.
I think they are.
And then once the guy's like, all right, give me the $20. And he says, I don't got $20. And then immediately start fighting. It's like, what are we doing? What is this?
Oh, God.
Dude.
Oh.
Just a masterpiece. Just a masterpiece.
No.
So,
first take.
Yeah. It's like, this did not have a rewrite, right? This was just like, wrote it up.
This is just the natural progression of movie evolution.
The people that were writing this couldn't even remember like what they were writing like halfway. And it's like, I don't want to reread this. Let's just say it's a done script, okay?
Hell yeah.
So several pieces of furniture are destroyed. One of the bouncers, Steve, just gets hit over the face. He's got like a huge shiner on his face now. Morgan has beaten up several patrons, seemingly enjoying it. I think he gives a line, Morgan, eventually to Dalton. He says, I heard you have balls big enough to come in a dump truck.
Weird.
But you don't look big to me. What?
Thanks.
I've heard you had balls big enough to come in a dump truck. Oh God.
Like, I don't
know, man.
I don't know.
Just because you got big balls doesn't mean you have a lot of semen in them. Like, that's not how it works, I don't think.
Do they need to be carried because they're so large?
I don't know.
Or does like the output
just feel bad for any girls that we move on. I don't know, bro. Like, I don't even know. It's just one of the many lines where it's like,
wonderful.
Nobody thought this didn't work. Nobody thought that was a weird line. And I'm glad it's in there because it's one of the best lines in movie history.
Yeah.
So Dalton goes to a used car lot the next day to buy another like old car. This one was a 1965 Buick. He also stops at a junkyard and buys several.
He had cool lights on it. Had like,
Oh yeah,
had
because
they
it like opened up.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was sweet.
Which I think the reason he did that is because his car's going to get destroyed 500 times during this movie. And he's like, well, I don't want to have to replace the
headlights
at the beginning.
all the time.
He also stops at a junkyard and buys several mounted tires, throwing them in the trunk. And soon we'll learn why. At a nearby farm owned by the probably the funniest character in the whole movie, Emmett.
Awesome.
Seems like he walked into the wrong movie.
I thought he had hook hands at first. I was like, yeah.
I was just like, this guy seems like he should be in like an old weird like.
He's just like an old pirate turned
Yeah,
farmer.
exactly. It's so weird.
Wonderful.
His giant beard that's obviously got to be fake because it looks
fantastic.
Strange. But yeah, his old man named Emmett, he rents a loft apartment from him, and it's a dope loft. It's great.
And good
looks
on
amazing.
This guy.
Yeah.
This is so it's like so intuitive. This is way before what do you call it? Airbnb.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a smart guy.
And he keeps it so clean.
Yeah, Emmett's pretty cool.
For a place that has the windows open constantly. There's no spiders or anything.
And I'm pretty sure Emmett is in love with Dalton.
Yes. Yes, he is. Once we get to the scene where he's just staring at him, I'm going to bring it up. Because he is just, he quickly just like starts to love him. It's wild. What'd you say?
I said, get Emmett.
So while he talks to Emmett about the rent, a helicopter flies across the small lake next to Emmett's property and swings low over his horse corral, startling the horses. Emmett gets all pissy about it. He says that the owner of the chopper, Brad Wesley, seems to fly over his house property just to agitate the horses and annoy him. I love Emmett. Emmett's kind of low-key the best character in the whole movie. Looks like he should be a prospector.
Yeah, he is a prospector.
Or like someone like searching for gold in San Francisco. So Dalton and Tillman hold an employees meeting before the club opens that night. Tillman announces that he's going to renovate the bar and that Dalton is now in charge of the management of the floor. Dalton immediately fires Morgan, telling him he doesn't have the right temperament for the job. Morgan threatens him and walks out furiously. Maybe we'll see him again soon. So Dalton also fires the woman who was dealing drugs at the bar. He then lays out the rules. Everyone will be on their guard at all times and expect the unexpected. They'll take any fights outside so that brawls don't further damage the place. And they'll be nice until Dalton determines they'll have to be more physical with any customers. I wrote down the whole line.
It's nice. They just to be nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because then you get like the quotes from Steve. Being called a cocksucker isn't personal. Dalton, no, it's two nouns combined to elicit a prescribed response. Steve, what if someone calls my mama a whore? Dalton, is she? Then he says, I want you to be nice until it's time to not to be nice. I was going to do that line at the beginning, but I was like, pain don't hurt is too good. We got to do that.
It's perfect communication for this group of guys, for people.
It seems like he's
talking to a third grader.
Right? It seems like he just goes to bars and just tells people, hey, don't immediately start trying to kill people, you know? Just get them out of the bar. Let's not destroy the entire bar every night.
Yeah, every single night they have to replace 1,000 glasses and
chairs and tables. It's like, I'm assuming that the guy that owns the Double Deuce just like, yeah, I have 5,000 chairs out in the shed out back just because every night we break 20 of them. So
chairs, a field of chairs.
In another month, I'm going to have to order more. So yeah, and Dalton just tells him, it's just a job, nothing personal. It's nothing, we don't have to take everything super personal. It's just a bunch of drunk people. We don't have to kill every drunk man that says something dumb.
Yeah,
you're at a bar.
A very sensible thing to say. People that only fight every day.
Yeah, it's like there shouldn't be a fight breaking out every single night. So
people die every night.
Yeah, like, exactly. Eyeballs are on the floor.
Shit.
So in the bar that night, a few brawls break out, but Dalton and his guys are able to handle them as a team. And it's great because you see them all fighting together and they just get everybody out as quickly as possible. Dalton catches Steven in a storeroom having sex with a female customer and fires him on the spot. He's on his break, man. Like, just let him do it. Oh,
Yeah.
it's the first awkward sex scene in the movie.
But it's unsanitary. I mean, that was like in the pantry, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no good. Shouldn't be doing that there.
It's like right over the potatoes.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
It's like, man, these potatoes smell like sex and potatoes.
They don't serve food there, do they? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think it's just beer and
I think
semen.
They probably would now after he fixed it up. But yeah, you wouldn't have a table. You start eating your food. Immediately someone just like falls on it. It's like, all right, well, I waited an hour to get my food because there's 3 fights that broke out in the span of that time.
All the waitresses are in like hockey gear.
Yeah. As soon as a fight breaks out, they start throwing off their gloves and they're like, let's go. Gets their hockey sticks hitting people.
Oh, shit.
So Dalton also watches one of the bartenders, Pat, as he skims from the register and helps himself to free beers. And then, like, after that night, like, Tillman, who's super reluctant, ends up firing Pat, which seems to carry a lot of weight than simply getting rid of someone else who was cheating him out. Tillman also remarks that it was a good night because nobody died.
Yeah, man, that is a good night.
And then Dalton says, it'll get worse before it gets better, though. When Dalton leaves that night, he finds that the windshield of his Buick has been smashed and all 4 tires have been flattened and the antenna has been broken.
They just left the knife in there.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like to think that if we went to wherever Dalton's main home is, he just has like an entire drawer filled of knives that just keep getting left into his cars and his body and friends.
Like Fifth Element with the guns.
Exactly. Wow, this movie is similar to Fifth Element. So all this barely phases Dalton, though, because it happens to him all the time. Back at the loft, he sees a crazy party going on at Brad Wesley's. We see the blonde woman that was kind of staring at Dalton earlier, and then we have a weird guy dancing in the background.
Hell yeah, man.
Like when Brad goes up, hey, look at this guy. I like this guy. And he's like, it's like, what is happening?
Ridiculous. Like they definitely don't know how to dance, but they're dancing so hard. I love it.
It's not whether you can dance, it's whether you can feel the music.
You have to.
It's like it's their version of dancing. Just because they can't dance doesn't mean they're not dancing.
And the one guy's like, he's got a gun on his back.
Yeah.
In that one scene, he's like bouncing up and down, like, oh yeah. So fucking funny.
So the next morning, Carrie comes over in the morning with breakfast. This is where we get Dalton just gets up and walks around completely naked. We get a great 5 to 10 second butt shot of him, and then Carrie's just drooling and just gushing all over the place.
Girls.
She says he should have not fired Pat and that he is a dead man now. And Dalton's like, everybody keeps saying that to me. So, and then while driving into town the next morning, he nearly collides with Brad Wesley, who is swerving dangerously along the road in his Mustang.
Man, what are you doing? It's just...
I don't know. I mean, I know he owns that whole town, and he doesn't have a care in the world.
But he will die too.
He can still die.
Yeah, he can still die.
Wow. And it's weird when you see him, because when you first see Brad Wesley, it's like, oh, he seems like a goofy, he's going to be a goofy villain. And then he turns into no good, very bad villain.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Instead of just
like
being
he's the mafia.
Yeah, because you think he's just going to be a kooky guy after this scene. And then it's like, oh, no, he's a serious bad guy.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Dalton, who goes to a local auto parts store. Dalton befriends the owner, a man named Red. Love Red. Just seems like a normal dude, which is nice in this movie.
Yeah.
There's one normal guy in the movie.
And he's like honest, like right off the bat. Like, yeah, this guy's fucking up everything.
Yeah, we hate him. He sells Dalton a new antenna and says he'll order him a new windshield. Just then, Wesley walks in with a sinister looking man named Jimmy, who glares at Dalton as he walks out.
You think he noticed him on the road? Like,
I don't know, because he was going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Maybe this is supposed to be a few hours later. I don't know. After Dalton walks out, Wesley seemingly greets Red with a friendly tone, but Red knows the reason Wesley has shown up is to extort money from him. At the loft, Emmett sees Dalton's Mercedes. This is the scene. And we see Dalton doing Tai Chi or something like that?
Probably.
We see Brad Wesley watching from afar across the river. And then we also see Emmett, who is watching and is thinking about switching sides. I mean, he's just staring at him the whole time. He looks so like amazed and like, whoa, have you seen anybody stretch before?
It's amazing.
So weird, dude. And he's just got such a goofy face. I love Emmett. I hope he found a man. So that night at the Double Deuce, Dalton is called up to Tillman's office. The bartender that was fired, Pat, is there along with a man named Connor, tells Dalton that Tillman had a change of heart about firing Pat.
Yeah, I love goons.
Yeah. Yeah, there got plenty of them in this movie. When Dalton asks for an explanation, O'Connor tells him that Tillman buys his liquor and beer from Wesley and that Pat is Wesley's nephew. Pat pulls a large Bowie knife
Fuck yeah,
on
man.
Dalton, who is easily dodges and disarms him. I love it. Just immediately a giant knife. One of Wesley's other thugs, a big guy named Tinker, love Tinker, slashes Dalton under his arm. Dalton easily beats all of them, showing his skill in martial arts, and crashes through the office window with O'Connor. He and his guy throw them out while he goes to the emergency room.
Well, he kicks a guy through it first, and then he crashes through it.
Yeah, and then
again.
like everybody just gets thrown out of it. No one thinks about exiting the door. So, I love Tinker though.
Yeah, he's great.
Guy. At the end,
huge
when it
belly of the suspenders.
Yeah, it's like it's not.
He's a wonderful goon.
But I love that he survives at the end too. And I'm like, oh yeah, out of all the goons, this is the one I wanted to survive.
Yeah, this is a likable one.
This is the one that would probably change his ways, I feel like.
Hell yeah. Go to work for the other guy.
Love Tinker.
He's like, it's because his goon resume.
Yeah. He goes to like Doctor's Evils later. It's like, I'll be great. So at the ER, Dalton meets a doctor, Elizabeth Clay, who staples his wounds even after Dalton refuses to inject him with anesthetic.
I don't think you can really refuse to get anesthetic.
I know. It's just like, I mean, this place, yes. I feel like if the bars were run the way they are, the hospital probably isn't too much better.
Yeah.
Or they're just like, you know what? You're weirdly a very attractive person in this hospital. You can just do whatever you want, I guess.
He's a fucking sadist.
Yeah. He also eventually ends up inviting her to the Double Deuce. We get the line, "Do you enjoy pain? Pain don't hurt."
She should have been like, "Oh, sorry, I'm a doctor."
Yeah. It's like, it's just like, has a doctor ever asked someone, "Do you enjoy pain?" And then when they say pain don't hurt, be like, "That's not how you say that sentence." It's like pain does not.
Yeah, it do.
Pain does not hurt.
Technically, it do hurt.
But I like when she's stapling him, he's like flinching, but he's trying to act all cool.
I know, like, why, man?
It's like, dude, like she'd still probably bone you.
Local anesthetic is so good.
It's like, dude, you're Patrick Swayze and like you're ripped. Like you have a shot whether or not you get anesthesia.
You don't have to do dumb shit.
But this is where we learn that Dalton graduated with a degree in philosophy. When you're seeing them like they're talking, you can obviously see that they both want to bone each other. We get the line, "Nobody wins a fight," when she asks if he wins a fight. And she ends the conversation with, "I thought you'd be bigger." It's like, I get that a lot.
Oh, shit.
So the next day at Wesley's house, Tinker and O'Connor apologize to their boss.
So, like, even the doctors heard of these legendary
dude, everybody knows coolers, man.
There's like cooler trading cards.
Well, nobody seems to have TV, so they're all just, I'm assuming, subscribing to magazines like Bars R Us and stuff like that.
Yeah, on the front page.
Yeah. So the next day at Wesley House, Tinker and O'Connor, they go to apologize to the boss because Brad's like, "Y'all had one job," and it's like, we can't help that this guy is a fucking superhero, okay? Yeah. So Tinker apologizes, and as soon as he apologizes, like, "Oh, that was a real apology." And then O'Connor, "I apologize too." It's like, dude, you should have taken a second, composed yourself, and sounded sad. Because
like Tinker.
Yeah. Wesley says he believes Tinker, but does not believe O'Connor. And he starts.
I'd believe anything Tinker said.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
He's just like, oh, adorable. Look at him.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't he tussle his hair too?
A little bit, yeah. Wesley begins to beat O'Connor senseless. And then you get the iconic line, "You know what I don't like about you, O'Connor? You bleed too much."
That's a problem, though. You should probably go
It's
see a
like,
doctor.
well, my problem with you, Brad, is that you cause me to bleed too much.
I feel like hemophiliacs shouldn't they should find another line of work. I guess.
Exactly. It's
Sucks for them, I know.
This movie is so cheesy, dude. It's great.
I
God, we're
love
gonna
it.
we're gonna do Tango and Cash later this year. Get ready.
Hell yeah.
You're gonna be like,
Can't
what?
wait.
So Dalton goes to Red's and we see Wesley's men leaving and smiling. When he goes in, he sees the place is trash. He learns that Wesley runs the town. He later calls an old friend of his, Wade Garrett, another cooler, and asks him if he knows anything about Wesley. Garrett doesn't and tells Dalton to watch out for himself. Love when we meet Wade, he immediately de-escalates the situation calmly, and it's like, oh, this guy's really good at his job too.
I
Good to
know, it's
see.
just kind of cool. Like, they just don't immediately punch.
Yeah, it's like that's how you become a good bouncer. Later, we have the Double Deuce that has undergone renovations. We see the blonde woman, which we now know the name is Denise, hitting on Dalton. And then Jimmy, the guy's like, let's get out of here.
That's my woman.
Yeah, it's my boss's woman, but I probably also share. I don't know.
It's kind of a polyamorous situation. Now let's go.
Some of Wesley's men show up to cause trouble. Dalton and pals make quick work of them. Dr. Elizabeth, shows up and Dalton takes her out after his shift. She asks him if he enjoys his work and he reluctantly says he does, but it's just a job to him. She tells him that all the injuries he suffered, he might not live to an old age and needs to slow down. He takes in her advice with mild interest, then they kiss.
Yeah, he's been shot a whole bunch and stabbed. And
They have yet to have a romantic conversation about themselves yet, but then there's already kissing. Like, we know nothing about, like, he knows nothing about her so far except that she's a doctor. That's all he knows.
And he's
from the conversations.
He's philosophical.
Like, I don't know if in the 3-hour cut they cut to them like just having like a nice little date or something, and they have a conversation that it doesn't revolve Dalton beating men senseless. But I guess maybe the doctor's like, you know what? I've just been surrounded with people being beat up that it's my kink now.
Yeah, it's her thing.
Like, this is what I'm
I
into.
love it.
I love a beaten down man.
She's just like getting him in the fights on purpose.
And if you've been married, you know what I mean. Ayo!
The zigga.
Wow, I just got divorced.
Yeah. What, did you hear that? It sounded like a wedding ring going in the toilet.
So O'Connor and Tinker show up at Emmett's farm looking for Dalton. They tell him that Wesley wants to meet him. So they take him to Wesley's home. We see Denise with a black eye, who I love when we see her because she's doing like the, what do you call that? When you watch a video,
Calisthenics?
Yeah, something like that.
Aerobics, whatever.
Aerobics, something like that. But I love
it's
like
not aerobics, but
she gets up, she sees Dalton, and she's like trying to block her face so that he doesn't see the
she's been hit by a pipe.
Giant bruise. But I love she constantly keeps moving her hand to see, and I'm like, so are you trying to show him and make it dramatic? Like, I get you're doing it for the camera, but it looks super weird that you're doing it.
But now I can't see.
Yeah.
Oh, but now he can see. But now I can't
It's like, just put it over your face and put a little crack so you can see.
Just walk out of the room.
Yeah, just get out of there.
I don't know.
But Wesley tells Dalton that he's been the driving force in bringing most of the big name businesses to Jasper, like JCPenney's. That is almost going out of business now.
Love JCPenney's.
Yeah. So he brings up that Dalton killed a man in Memphis and got off due to self-defense. Dalton looks pissed that he knows this information, though.
It's attacked by the guy's throat.
Yeah. Oh my God, the throat's coming right for me. It's like South Park.
Yeah, it's coming right for me.
He just goes into bars. So Wesley even offers Dalton a job at a new club he's planning to open. Dalton refuses and leaves. We go back to the Double Deuce that seems to be getting fancier and fancier every time we come back to the place. It becomes super popular and it's filled with people. And it's like, why such a fancy place in a small town bar in the middle of just the woods?
They just turned it into a Cheddar's.
Yeah, but it's like, can we see the town just once?
There is no town.
I want to see that, like,
this is Valhalla.
It's right next to a city or something. So why are so many people coming there, and why do they all look so handsome and attractive?
Because isn't
so
it
weird.
in Kansas? Isn't that where all the attractive, handsome people live?
I guess so. I don't know. but they all want to come to this one bar.
It's probably the only thing around for 1,000 miles.
Well, it's because they all look kind of rich, like the customers, like now that go into the bar, they all like are dressed really nice and stuff. And I'm like, who are these people? Who are these people?
Yeah, they took down the chicken fence thing.
Yeah. So now Carrie can just sing karaoke in front of him.
He can just sing in safety now? Whoa. That's huge for him.
Crazy, man.
Probably blind from all the glass,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Isn't that how he said he got blinded?
I have no idea.
Or that was Sam Elliott. He said he got blinded by a bottle of whiskey.
I think so, yeah. I don't know if Cody's ever had. I think he was just born blind. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but okay, well, I guess perfect for him. He didn't even have to wear eye protection.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. And like when they're driving in the car, the window hole.
Yeah. I know.
His hair should be going wild.
Just wild.
All right.
It's almost like they weren't moving and on a lot, probably. So, Dalton is realizing that the place is running out of alcohol rapidly. Tillman says he's called every distributor he knows, but none of them will do business with him. Dalton quickly realizes Wesley has interfered. He walks outside and he sees Elizabeth, and they go back to his place and chat and then have awkward sex.
Super fun sex against the rocks.
Yes, against the hard stone rocks.
I mean, it's passion, baby.
You get the shot where he he immediately starts taking his pants off. He's like kind of keeping them on, lifts her up, puts her on the rocks, and then you just get like the awkward shot where it's just like, because they also have their clothes on, it looks really weird. And it's just like, you have her against the rocks and it's like a wide shot and he's just like awkwardly thrusting. And it's like, man, this is not an attractive shot at all for this movie.
What is love anyway?
I don't know. It's weird. They've had like 3 conversations and mainly about him getting his butt kicked. And here we are.
She's got a real soft spot for people who get their asses kicked.
Exactly. I mean, awesome. It is Patrick Swayze. So like, who wouldn't, right?
I guess.
So post-sex, we have Dalton sitting naked on his barn roof. Emmett just with his binoculars sitting outside, probably
just watching him.
Yeah,
alongside the billionaire that's watching him.
Yeah, and then she goes out and they talk. She tells Dalton that he doesn't have to go after he fixes double deuce. He can stay and start a life with her, but he doesn't think so.
That's a double deuce idea.
Yeah. We see Wesley is creeping on them from his back porch, just stewing. At the deuce the next day, Dalton talks to Cody, who tells him that Elizabeth Clay is Red's daughter and one-time love interest of Brad Wesley. Bum, bum, bum. That was obvious. Why the hell was she with him? Like a terrible relationship.
She was probably a child when he started grooming her, I'm going to say.
Well, she's a doctor. I don't know. Yeah, I mean,
maybe he kept stabbing himself to go see her and like bring her flowers.
He just kept constantly having to get stitches on his body from her.
Just looks like Frankenstein's monster.
He'd cut his arm and go there and it's like, oh, she's not on duty today. It's like, God dang it.
Fuck.
It's like, we'll fix it. And like, no, I'll come back later.
Come back in 12 hours.
So when she left him, Wesley became intensely jealous. Cody warns his friend to tread carefully. Just then, a bouncer lets Dalton know a delivery has arrived. And out on the loading dock, Dalton supervises the inventory. Morgan, O'Connor, Tinker, and another of Wesley's goons show up, ordering the delivery guy to take it back his load. They begin smashing bottles and try to fight Dalton, who takes several of them down before he gets hit over the head with a bottle.
Oh, man.
And I love it while the fight's going on. Like, you got one guy who's just like, just trying to hurry and throw all the liquor down. It's so funny. Wade Garrett arrives and goes out to the dock where he finds Dalton being held down while the goons take shots at him. Wade quickly joins the fight and they both are able to rout Wesley's men. Wade rolls. He's so fun. You get the line. Someone's like, you want to fight, Dickless? I damn sure don't want to show you my dick.
He wants to show Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, later.
His bush.
With his girl.
I only show the bush.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yep. So weird. So people learn that it's Wade Garrett, who apparently is also super popular. Dalton says that he wants to go show Wade something, and they're sitting in front of the hospital, and he's kind of talking about, it's like, hey, we should just like don't get too comfortable here, stuff like that, or whatever. I don't know, whatever they're talking about. And then he's like, why are you still here anyways? And then he like looks over, and Dalton points out, and then Elizabeth comes out, and he's like, I fucking knew it. I think that's probably my favorite line of the whole movie, just because of how good Sam Elliott is at delivering that. He's like, you fucking kidding me?
Fucking knew it.
Yeah. But yeah, so Dalton took Wesley to meet Elizabeth that night. She and Wade become instant friends. Shows her a scar and all his pubic hair. He dances with her when it looks like they're about to just kind of have sex on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Dalton's just cuckold and likes it and just watches. And then they go to sit down, and she walks away, and he says, that gal has too many brains to have an ass like that. So good. So good. Wade suggests that Dalton may have found the woman that can change him. Dalton shrugs it off, thinking he leads too violent of a life to settle down and that he hasn't had the best of luck with women.
She can at least like sew them back together.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, she's not married, not like the girl that you killed her husband. Because Wade tells him that the incident where he killed a man wasn't his fault, since the woman Dalton was with didn't tell him she was married. Her husband pulled a gun on Dalton, and Dalton killed him, acting in self-defense. It's like, oh no, a gun. I must rip his throat out.
Hell yeah, man. That's the only way to stop a gun.
Even though, like we've seen in this movie, he can quickly disarm people easily. Because he immediately kicks everything out of people's hands as soon as they pull it out. It's wild. So Garrett hangs out with Dalton at the bar that night. Someone rushes in with news that Red's store is on fire. Dalton runs out just in time to see the place explode.
Where'd you keep your shop there, Red?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is. I guess they just set a bomb off, or it's filled with oil.
Yeah, it's filled with barrels of gasoline.
Since it's an auto parts store.
It blew up like the damn hospital in Batman.
Yeah. It's rad, though, because it's a huge explosion. It's great.
Yes.
And then you have a damn ambulance almost hitting everybody.
Yeah, and the firefighters show up.
Yeah, and it's like...
And they're actively crossing the street with the hose, and the ambulance just barreling down the road.
It's so funny, man.
It looks like they barely missed them.
It's so... Yeah, they had to like jump back, like, holy hell.
What are you doing, ambulance?
It's like, why are you so intense?
You're going away from where all the hurt people are.
It just turns out there was like a car accident like later down the road, and it's like, we don't care about this one place. We have to go.
It'd be cool if that ambulance had monster truck tires.
Yeah, oh, dude.
Man, talk about like Appalachian ambulances.
We hadn't even talked about a monster truck yet. Hey, movies, add monster trucks into them. Which is something Tango and Cash has.
I love how the dude just pulls up in the driveway.
Yeah.
Fucking monster truck.
It's like, oh, I better park far away. I don't want anybody to hit my car. So back at the bar, we see Wesley has sneaked in. He tells everyone that it's a shame that Red's place burned down. In an effort to antagonize Dalton and his crew, he orders his blonde bombshell girlfriend, Denise, to do a striptease.
Obvious.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, cool, I guess. I don't understand
You're
the point
welcome, everyone.
It's like, how about Dalton? How about Brad? You just shoot Dalton. You don't like him.
Yeah,
get a gun.
Kill everyone else. Just kill him.
Shoot the people you don't like. It doesn't seem like the cops care. So,
have they tried to kill him yet, or they just kind of like
just blow up his loft?
Yeah, that would have been an easy solution. It's not like it's just horses down there.
Yeah, this is why the script needed another rewrite.
Nope, it was perfect.
Why doesn't he just kill him? He knows where he lives. He watches him bone the girl every night.
Just shoot him from across the river.
So she's dancing. The bouncers are all trying to stop her, but she's ignoring them. Dalton steps in and leads her back to Wesley. Wesley then sets up a fight between Jimmy and the bouncers. He gets like a pull stick.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah.
He kicks a lot of ass with that pull stick.
If I was like this bar, I'd be like, oh, you're using a weapon? Okay, well, everybody leave or I'm going to start shooting people.
Get the
Because
taser.
you, like, I don't know, most bars just have guns in them at some point just in case something crazy breaks out.
I guess.
This would
I
be
don't
the
know.
moment.
I feel like they would have a taser, especially.
Something.
Maybe the gun is like plan C.
Yeah, I guess so. So Jimmy beats them all down, wielding a pole cue and making use of his own martial arts skill. He like pole vaults.
That was
onto
the
the
best
stage.
shit, man.
So
Off that
wild.
guy's stomach.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh,
what are we doing?
perfect.
It's so
you
great.
could have just like hopped over him
Yeah, it's
easily.
not that big of a
I
stage to
loved
jump
it
on.
though. It was the best thing I've ever seen, I think.
And he late 4 years from then, Jimmy ended up, or 4 years before, he ended up winning a gold medal at the Olympics.
He's just pole vaulting out of
vaulting.
people's asses.
Yeah. So Jimmy challenges Wade directly, and the two fight furiously until, I guess it was kind of a draw, but it seemed like Wade was getting his butt kicked a little bit there. He and Dalton briefly exchanged blows until Wesley fires a shot from a pistol. He tells Dalton that things aren't working out, and
Okay, that's
he
enough.
leaves. But it's like the first time he saw, he's like, "Oh wait, hold on, Dalton might actually be able to beat up Jimmy," and he's like, "My main guy here." So
I
let's stop this.
almost wish that the villain had like a Swedish accent. Or
Yeah.
kind of like a Austin Powers movie.
Yeah, or like just some sort, or Die Hard or something where it's like, it's always like a weird foreign villain.
Yeah, like a carpetbagger.
Weird white foreign villain. Some of the more prominent business owners, including Tillman and Red, meet together to discuss how much more demanding, unstable, and violent Wesley is becoming. Red is planning to leave town after Wesley somehow gets word of the meeting. He has one of his men drive a monster truck through the car dealership of Strattermeyer, one of Jasper's businessmen. Insane. The entire town is just watching. And it's like, hey, kill this guy. What are we doing? All you have to do is, obviously this whole town is scared of this guy and doesn't like him.
They all have knives.
It seems like the police doesn't like him. I'm sure the mayor hates the guy. Or I don't know, unless he's just paying all these people off and we're not seeing it.
That's what he's doing. You know, money talks.
But it's like, at this point, people in the town are like, wait, he's destroying our one dealership.
Yeah,
Like,
he's just killing everybody.
Like, this is a little too far. We already have the businesses, so let's just get rid of this guy. The business isn't just going to run away.
Didn't that one guy say, he's like, hey, I could get in touch with my friend who's in the FBI. Like,
I think so.
yeah, man.
Do it. You should have done it years ago. So Wesley proclaims that Jasper is his town. When Elizabeth confronts him, Wesley reveals the real reason for his antagonism, Dalton. He says that Dalton either has to leave or he'll wind up dead. And then,
shit.
And then we cut to back at Emmett's place.
Lord romance.
Wade tries to talk Dalton while he's attacking a heavy bag, just hitting stuff in his little
Yeah,
loft.
hitting everything.
He's
Awesome.
super upset over Wesley's destruction of the auto dealership and the fear of the mogul uses to control the town. Dalton tells Wade to leave, but Wade refuses. When Dalton takes a shot at him, Wade stops the strike cold and reminds Dalton that he learned just as much from his young friend as Dalton learned from him. Wade leaves Dalton to his workout while Emmett's just cranking down in his
I guess they couldn't have him fight
house.
because Sam Elliott's not really a athletic. Like,
Yeah,
he probably
he's
doesn't
older.
know kung fu.
Well, I
Like,
think
because he's supposedly taught him kung fu, or just taught him how to run a bar.
a little bit both, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't explain. We need the 3.5 hour cut.
We do.
Or just one line explaining more of the relationship.
Yeah, that'd be easy.
Yeah. So Elizabeth goes to Dalton's place that night and asks him to leave, saying his challenges to Wesley's craziness will get him killed. Dalton refuses, saying he's dealt with men like Wesley before and that they won't stop until they're taken down. Elizabeth tries to tell him that the town is not his responsibility to save, and she asks who's going to save him from himself. Dun, dun, dun. And, like perfect time to say a line, who's going to save you from himself, because he's about to go insane. Because just then, Emmett's house erupts in flame. Dalton rushes in and carries Emmett out, who's uninjured. Thank God.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I know, man. So
I wish it cut to a slow motion scene of like him carrying out Emmett, and Emmett's just
Take my breath away.
just staring at Patrick Swayze as he's running out like, that's my hero. So the house explodes again, and Dalton hears Jimmy riding away on a motorcycle. He chases him and is able to knock Jimmy off with a dope sick tackle.
Hell yeah, man.
The 2 square off.
Fucking ninja.
I love it. Jimmy's like, prepare to die. Dalton, you're such an asshole. It's like, what is the lines here? So they're kind of like just doing martial arts on each other. Dalton eventually wins the upper hand, and Jimmy pulls a gun on him. But like in the middle of the fight, we get I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Wow.
It's like,
weird flex, bro.
Wow, dude. Cool. You're a rapist too. That's super dope to hear. I truly think that like Jimmy was going to end up raping Dalton if he got the upper hand.
But he would have.
It seemed like there was that type of vibe going on with Jimmy. But there's so many kicks in this scene.
Yeah, man.
Like they hardly punch. It's just like kick.
Kicks the gun out. Kicks him.
It's like the beginning of what is it? The Winter Soldier. Like the boat scene. There's so many kicks in that scene. It's crazy.
I know, but like you just see like kicks coming out of nowhere, like from the perspective behind the person kicking, and you just see a leg pop up sometimes. It's like, what?
It's like, they just like made a leg on a stick and was like just waving it around.
Like the Zohan.
Yeah. Or in like Goldmember when he's like always putting his legs like up to his head. It's like, those are obviously fake legs. So yeah, Jimmy pulled the gun. Dalton knocks it from Jimmy's hand and sinks his fingers into Jimmy's throat, ripping it open and killing him.
Why, man?
So good.
That was completely unnecessary.
So
I think he had the upper hand.
Yeah, he did. You know what he did? He knocked the gun from Jimmy's hand, disarmed him. All he had to do, like, pluck out his eyes or something.
Break his arm.
You could have done. It's like
break all of his bones.
If you're worried he's gonna come back and kill you, like, I don't know, make him blind. I don't know. You don't have to immediately rip his throat out.
It's like, you don't need that anymore.
Yeah. Say, geez, he just immediately went to like the most gruesome thing. Elizabeth, who is horrified, leaves because she's like, fuck this, dude.
You see like Emperor Palpatine go like, yes.
Do it. Do it. Unlimited power. So Dalton takes Jimmy's body and sends it floating across the lake to Wesley's house. Wesley, fuck you.
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
Oh, so good. After Dalton arrives at the Deuce the next day, Dalton gets a call from Wesley. Wesley tells him he's flipping a coin to see whether Wade or Elizabeth dies and doesn't tell Dalton the outcome.
It's like, where's Rachel?
Dude, I wrote down in my notes, this is the Dark Knight scene. Because soon after, Wade staggers into the Deuce, having been beaten very badly. Dalton finally gives in, saying Wade and Elizabeth will pack up and leave. He's like, all right, fuck it. This isn't worth my time anymore. Wade mentions that his attackers told him he was lucky. Dalton suddenly believes that Wesley intends to kill Elizabeth and rushes to the hospital to find her. It's essentially the Dark Knight scene. Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, this is the location you want to go. I'm going to tell you that. And then you go, and it's like, just kidding. We're killing this person instead. Bom, bom, bom. It's all part of Brad Wesley's plan. Does Brad Wesley look like a guy with a plan?
Man.
Yeah. I mean, Brad Wesley's the Joker. You saw him driving.
Yeah.
I mean, it's practically the same scene as with the Joker with his head out, just like
slicks his hair back.
Yeah. That's what Wesley was doing earlier.
The happiest motherfucker on earth.
Wow, Christopher Nolan, a fraud. So yeah, he rushed to the hospital to find her. He becomes demanding and forceful, telling her she's leaving with him. She refuses, telling him to leave her alone. Back at the Deuce, because it didn't work, Dalton's like, all right, fuck it. I'm going back to the Deuce. I'm leaving with Wade. He sees Wade seemingly sleeping on the bar. When he turns him over, he sees that Wade's been stabbed with a combat knife with a note saying it was Tails. Now he's also like the goddamn Two-Face.
And he pulls the knife out?
Yeah, the devastated Dalton
recycle his knife.
Takes the knife and drives out to Wesley's place very dramatically. It's a very dramatic
Nobody
scene.
reports murders, I guess.
No. It's a lawless town. The only law is Brad Wesley and his goons.
Love me some goons.
Speaking of Wesley's goons, they're waiting on his front lawn, armed with shotguns. They see Dalton's Mercedes speeding toward them and open fire. The car doesn't slow down and flips over a rock wall.
And I love how Tigger runs with his gun.
Yeah,
it's so
so
funny.
good. I will say, this shot, though, of the car flipping, rolls.
That was cool.
So good.
He shot the
Looks
tank on the
amazing.
bottom when it flipped.
Oh, should have had that 500 more times in this movie. As it does, one of the guys shoots the gas tank. The car catches fire, landing on his tires and rolling a few more yards. It's so awesome. When they open the car, one of them find the accelerator pedal has been fastened down with a combat knife. His combat knife. It's that guy's combat knife. He takes it and orders.
It's steel under the rubber.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I don't know.
Movie.
Yeah.
Take me there.
So the guy takes the knife and orders everyone to find Dalton, who's likely in the house somewhere. As the guy with the knife rounds a corner, he finds Morgan laying dead. R.I.P. Terry Funk. Inside the house, Dalton stalks Wesley's guys, killing them one at a time, including the knife owners, in revenge for Wade.
He takes the knife back. Oh, thanks.
This is a pretty fun scene, though. It's a stealthy little mission scene.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like everybody's just walking. He's like, it's
Batman, man.
So yeah, it's a horror movie all of a sudden.
Nice.
Yeah. Because everybody's like, where the hell is this guy? And why is he able to outdo us all?
I know, that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then we
start shooting everywhere.
Yeah. And then a little later, we see him. He pushes over a large stuffed polar bear on Tinker, who thinks the polar bears came to life. He's like, I knew it. And then Wesley's walking through the house talking about, because they walk into the trophy room and he's like, the last trophy I want is your ass.
Oh,
it's like, the dude wants to hang Dalton's ass on his wall. Is that why we got such a clear shot of it earlier in the film? It's like, that's an ass that should be on a wall.
Yes. It sings like the fish.
Yeah. So when Wesley enters the room and sees his henchman dead, he taunts Dalton, saying that Wade was a mercy killing. Dalton fights with Wesley, who tries to kill him with hunting spears.
Yeah.
Because he knocks like the gun out of his hand and then
like
he just starts throwing
African
spears.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, he didn't knock the gun out of his hand yet, but yeah.
He's just like stabbing at him.
And I love it when you see him throw it, they go in such a perfectly smooth straight line. It's like, this is so lame. It's awesome. But Wesley pulls out a pistol and like Wesley has the upper hand. And it's like, this old man should not have the upper hand on this guy.
I know.
He's able to kill everybody easily.
It's like when you in kung fu movies, again, like the guy at the very top, he's always kind of like an old badass.
Yeah.
A little bit. And he always has a spear.
It's like the first John Wick, like John Wick kills everybody. In that one, John Wick is like beaten to a pulp at that point because he's just taking so many punches. But he has to fight the older like Russian guy, I think. And it's like, dude, you should kill him like with one hit. This guy has no fighting ability.
But he's wearing a helmet.
Yeah. The other movies learned that, like, oh, okay, we can't do that again. We can't have our crazy action villain having a hard time fighting an older man.
Yeah. Supposedly he's supposed to just like be real strong, I guess.
I think it's just, I don't know. I guess
Just
it's just supposed to be like the circumstances that it's all in, that it's like, oh, it just so happened that he was able to throw spears and keep Dalton on his toes, and now he has a gun.
Yeah, because he takes him down pretty quickly.
But I just feel like Dalton should just have handled the situation better. I don't know.
Just throw it out.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Dalton disarms him and tenses himself to tear out Wesley's throat.
Yes, his hand. This is like the claw.
It'd be
from
funny.
Liar Liar. He has to hold it back.
Yeah. It'd be funny if like we cut to his hand and he just has like really long fingernails that are pointed into like little daggers, so it makes it easier to rip out.
You just hear whispers coming from it.
Do it. Well, it's just like he like puts it up next to his right shoulder. It's like his hand starts talking.
Like,
hey, just do it. Yeah.
A mouth thing.
Hey, why don't you rip his hand out? His other hand's like, don't do it, brother. Don't do it. Never listen to your right hand.
That throat looks nice and juicy over there.
I told you shouldn't rip out any more throats. Don't listen to that hand. Listen to me.
We hunger.
Should we make a parody movie of this? But Dalton decides he's not going to do it, and Elizabeth walks in. When Then suddenly Wesley's grabbing his pistol again, and he suddenly is hit by several shotgun blasts. Red, Schottenmeyer, and Tillman have shown up wielding their own weapons.
Yeah, fuck yeah. He gets shot a lot.
The damn cavalry came. Again, why didn't we do this a long time ago? Many opportunities to kill. Like, this guy just drives crazy on the road. You could have just, like, I don't know, made a roadblock and just shot him on the
hell
road.
yeah. Throw out some spikes.
Run him off the road and then just beat him up and make it look like he wrecked his car. I don't know.
Like, let some cattle loose in front of it.
Exactly.
Be awesome.
So Tillman coldly tells Wesley the town is theirs and fires the last shot. By the time the police have shown up,
the best police ever.
Yeah. Red has hidden everyone's shotguns and they all feign innocence.
I didn't see nothing.
Yeah, it's like, I didn't see anything
well,
either.
that solves that. Suicide.
Tinker comes up because he survived. Red's like, did you see anything, Tinker? And then he's just like looking around and everybody's looking at him. And then we cut to some monkeys that it's like, see, hear, speak no evil. And it's like, what are we fucking doing? Why are we doing this? This ending is terrible. It's like, all right, I guess the movie's over because the story closes with Cody's band playing at the successful Double Deuce and Dalton and Elizabeth enjoying a romantic swim together. So I feel like they tried to hide it in the shot, but the blind guy's with them.
Really?
By their skinny dipping.
It's not like he can see.
I know. It's still weird. Like, I understand that he can't see, but it's still weird that you decided to go skinny dipping.
No,
and
they're
like,
just teasing him.
Hey, Cody, you want to come with us? And it's like maybe they were like, we're going to go swimming, but we'll have our clothes on. And they just like didn't tell him that.
Like, could you please describe the breasts for me?
Like, so it's just like with the police just being like, okay, everybody's innocent here. And then them swimming in front of the naked guy. Like,
the
blind guy. Like, what is this? Why? And then the speak here, see no evil. It's like, wow.
That was funny.
Weird.
That was nice. That was a tasteful taxidermy.
Wild. But that's Roadhouse.
Oh, I loved it. It was so great. No notes.
Such a great, cheesy action movie. I still can't believe you prefer it over Speed and Point Break.
I don't know. I guess it was. I like Patrick Swayze more than Keanu Reeves. I
thought you were gonna come to me and be like, I'm super disappointed in this film. Patrick Swayze didn't throw one dog.
No, well, that's part of why it's so good.
No, there needs to.
You don't have to throw a dog.
There needs to be nothing but dogs to be thrown. So we're gonna hit our first category. It's called the good, the bad, the ugly, the fine. The good is something that we like about the film. The bad is something we didn't like about the film. The ugly is something that didn't age well. The fine is something that did age well. What do you got for the good?
Oh man, everything. I thought it was kind of cool how they didn't, even though it was very over the top, sometimes they didn't try to go over the top. You know what I mean? With like, even the explosions were a little dialed down.
Yeah,
from like a triple, action movie.
It wasn't like MacGruber where like everything explodes.
Nobody has rocket launchers and like but
yeah, it's a fist fighting movie. Weirdly.
So yeah, but like it was, I don't know. I kind of appreciated them. Some of the serious tones that they took. Well, certain times.
It's like the script was so crazy that like the action was like weirdly toned down. Like you'd expect it to be even crazy until there's throat ripping. It's like all the
I know. Like, where did that come from?
All the action is just kind of like, oh, we're just like fighting, fist fighting. It's
no, this guy needs to go to jail probably.
Yeah. No, everybody should be in jail in this town. Everybody. I put for the good the cheesiness, the cheesy action drama of the 80s. And 90s. So good. I love it.
So much. The Goons.
Yeah. It's something that now our action movies are just kind of witty. They're not really cheesy. So I'm sure in like 30 years, people are going to be like, man, these quippy action movies are so cheesy.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's going to hate them.
Or even like, I could see the John Wick movies with being like, wow, like later in life, like 20 years from now, people being like, why were there so much like punching and kicking? Like these people would be dead. Now there's like probably going to even be more realistic fighting maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the evolution of the genre would be.
Action fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of ball ripping in
It's
the
like,
future. I think.
yeah, it's like, or it's just like the fights are going to be quicker. It's like, no, we just like disarm people like way faster and knock them out.
Face ripping is going to be really
They learned that
popular.
like people can't take 500 hits to the head in one fight and then get up and go fight some more. It's not wrestling.
Is it?
Ooh. So for the bad, what do you have?
Absolutely nothing.
I put the script. Script could have used some rewrites.
Could use a little polish.
Yeah, just a little bit.
A little spit shine.
Could make some things make sense here and there. Because I would say like we should change the dialogue, but I don't know. It's kind of the best part of the movie.
God.
It's weird because the stuff that's bad is what makes it good.
Right.
So it's like I don't want anything changed, but also at the same time, it's like, how in the hell did this get greenlit?
It's almost intentional.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works.
It's wild. So what's something that didn't age well?
Man,
It's kind of tough.
it is kind of tough.
I mean, I would say the
some of the
prison rape stuff not aging well is still probably a thing and super gross, but it's also hilarious, so we can't take it out. I guess there's really nothing that. I mean, all the guys that just want to like beat up women in the movie doesn't age well,
they
but
deserve to be beat
I mean,
up.
it is a bar, so like everybody's drunk and doing stupid stuff and want to kill. It's just
the idea that anyone would go to this bar.
Yeah. The ugly is this town. They need to shut it down and quarantine it. Put a bubble on it.
It's like the city with all the zombies. What was it? Raccoon City?
Yeah.
It's needs to quarantine
Yeah,
and shit and
Resident
nuke it.
Yeah. And for the fine, I put Patrick Swayze. He's always good. It's great.
Hell yeah.
I
Sucks
love
that
the
he
guy.
died.
Miss the old boy.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to cut to our next category, double feature. It's where we pick a movie that goes well with this movie. What you got, Jason?
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Hell yeah.
The other bar movie.
Super cheesy. One of the best twists in cinema history.
Oh, that's
Because you have
fantastic.
no idea that they're going to be vampires in this movie. And then all of a sudden, I haven't seen that movie since I was little.
No,
So
first, the weirdest thing is like the guy with
Quentin
the battery,
Tarantino.
his nipples hooked up to a car battery. That was fun.
I don't even remember that. I just remember Quentin Tarantino's character being creepy.
Yeah.
And
For
also,
sure.
Quentin Tarantino, stop acting in movies. Thanks. All right, so that's our conclusion of Roadhouse. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Woo!
Make sure you join us next week because we're going to be discussing the hit sequel to a film called Alien. Because we're doing Aliens, baby.
Yeah.
Celebration of Aliens Romulus.
Fuck yeah, man.
Can't
I love aliens.
wait. And I'm super excited because we watched Alien. It was either earlier this year or last year. Can't even remember. And I think I came to the conclusion that I liked Alien more. Now we're doing Aliens. Can't wait to see if I was right about my opinion. And I'm hoping we can get Dakota on with that episode.
Hell yeah, man. That'd be awesome.
He
I'd
loves
love
the
to talk to
Alien
them
series.
again.
So make sure you join us next week for that. And we would love to hear from you. Cool way to say that.
Please.
In the description, if you're on like Spotify, there's a link at the very top of our description. You can just click it. It says, send us fan mail. And you can just text us fan mail and I'll read it on the pod.
Tell
if
us
you do.
you want us to hold our nipples while we talk.
Or you can go to we recommend mailbag@gmail.com. And if you want to follow us on social medias or the quickest way to find our podcasts on different streaming sites, go to linktree/we recommend podcasts. I would also like to thank Joey Prosser for our intro and outro music. You can follow him on X at Mr. Joey Prosser. Please leave us some reviews. We'll read them on air if we start getting reviews. Mainly on Apple because it's like the place you can read them. But also, if you're a listener on YouTube, I don't know, just ask questions in the comments and maybe we'll read them on here as well. But yeah, this has been the We Recommend podcast. Make sure you join us next week. I've been Jesse.
I've been Jason.
And we used to
Dude,
put guys like you in prison. Bye.